Hello everyone. Once again, welcome back to Jig is Up Lorecraft. We have another great build here for you today. So last video, we built this Colorshift Finesse Jig using an Eclipse color pattern. It's got an Eclipse powder paint, and then I just put a skirt on it that's got black, blue, and purple. So in today's video, we are going to make a matching jig trailer for it using a Do It Molds Katana Craw. This is a super popular mold, partially because it comes in at around $90, so it's pretty affordable, but it's got 5 cavities, and each of these craws has a nice, thick, chunky body with really subtle craws and antenna on them. So here's our 5 cavities. Super popular mold. I've actually had a lot of people use my affiliate link to get this mold, and I've caught fish with it. It's really, really great for small jigs like this one. So with this craw, I'm going to be using this Colorshift powder from Barlow's Tackle, and it's the matching Eclipse pigment to the Eclipse powder paint I used on that Finesse Jig. So it has a lot of those same purples and blues and blacks. Just look at that beautiful color shift goodness. As you shift it in the light, you see it change. This is going to be a perfect pairing with the Finesse Jig I was just showing a moment ago. So without further ado, let's break out our plastisol so we can make us some trailers. So the plastisol we're using today is this stuff here from MF. This is just their regular floating plastic. And before we use it, I'm just going to give it a very thorough shake to make sure the plasticizers and resins are thoroughly mixed in together. This does make a big difference when you're making your baits. Make sure you mix it thoroughly. So here's our Pyrex cup. And since I'm only making a handful of baits today, I'm just going to put about 1/3 cup of plastisol in here. Now, if you're making more baits, feel free to use an entire cup here. But again, I'm just making a few baits, so this will be perfect. Now that the plastisol is measured out, I'm simply going to throw it in the microwave for about 90 seconds. For this 1/3 cup of plastisol, it does not take very long for it to get thoroughly cooked. To know that it's cooked, I will be checking it with a heat thermometer. Once it hits about 350 degrees, then we'll know that it's just right. You'll also be able to tell the plastic is fully cooked when you see that it's super clear and thin and runny, just like we have here. So quick temperature check. And we're about 335, which is a little below 350, but once it's taken out of the microwave, it does cool down a little, so it was about 350 while it was still in the microwave. So now I'm going to take a 1/8 teaspoon of this Colorshift pigment and just liberally put it in there and stir it in. I'll grab my butter knife and stir this in. And already you can see there's a lot more than just purple going on in this plastic. There's black, purple, and you can see some blue in there too. It's a really, really pretty plastisol already. Let's zoom in and give you a really close look of this color. Oh yeah, just a beautiful color. And all of this is happening with one simple powder. We've not added any additional colors or flake. It's just all contained in this one simple pigment. Now let's check our heat again before we inject our plastic. As you can see here, we're at about 300 degrees, which is a little cool for pouring plastic. So I'm going to put this back in the microwave for about 30 seconds to get it close to our 350 degree operating temperature, and then we'll be ready to inject. Alright, so here we have our mold all clamped up and ready. Let's pull our plastisol out of the microwave and see what temperature we've got. Alright, so we are a little over 350 degrees, which is a little warmer than what I usually pour at, but this will still work. So now I'll just suck up this plastic into my injector and simply plunge it into the mold. Now, since I don't have a lot of plastic here, I'm only going to fill 3 of these cavities. If you have a larger injector or more plastisol made, then please feel free to fill up the whole thing. But for today's video, I'm just going to fill these 3 cavities to make a couple craws. Alright, so we have poured our plastic, and now we just wait for it to cool. And one tip that I use for making sure the plastic is ready is I'll just lightly touch those sprues, and if they feel solid and well set up, then I know that the soft baits are ready to come out of the mold. So, pulling off these clamps, let's take a look at our craws. And here we are. These are our Eclipse katana craws. And already I am so in love with this color. The body looks very purple, but if you look closely at the small little appendages, you'll see they're kind of a translucent blue. So let's quickly clean up these craws and take another look at them in some other lighting, and I'll even toss them on the jig so we can get a good idea for how they look. So as you can see, this trailer matches perfectly with the jig we made in the last video. Not only is it the perfect size for this 1/4 ounce profile, but the color is spot on. It shares all of those same blues and blacks and purples. It's just perfect for this little jig. Now I do have a little surprise for you in that I'm breaking out another mold to test this Colorshift powder with, and we're going to pair it up with this same jig. Now this is a Mad Dad craw mold by Do It Molds. This mold is super cheap. It's usually around 25 bucks for this one little cavity. It's a great affordable option for when you're getting started making your own soft baits. And even if you're an advanced bait maker, the fact that it's an open pore mold really allows you to dial in a lot of custom colors. You can make some really cool effects with this simple mold. So all I'm going to do is reheat this same cup of plastic. This is the same exact plastic, same colors and everything as I used for those katana craws. So we should have a really good idea of how this Mad Dad craw looks in comparison to those katana craws. And in case you can't tell from watching, this mold is extremely easy to pour. It does not require the use of an expensive injector or any additional equipment. You simply heat up your plastic in the microwave and pour right out of your Pyrex cup into the mold. As far as soft bait making is concerned, it really does not get any easier than that. So after waiting a few minutes for the plastic to cool, we are now ready to pull the bait out of the mold. And wow, same exact color, but here we have a slightly different profile. Those big aggressive claws just look amazing. And these claws are going to have a lot more action than the ones in those katana craws. So here we have the Mad Dad craw on our jig. Same exact colors, but now it's got so much more of an aggressive look with those big flapping style craws. So I foresee this being a great option for when you want a lot of action in your jig, when you're working it aggressively, when you're swimming it. This trailer would be perfect. Alternatively, I think I would use that katana craw if I wanted a really subtle presentation, or if I was fishing like a clear water situation for smallmouths or something like that. Either way, it's really hard to go wrong with either one of these trailers. They are both so good looking on this jig. And realistically, they're both going to catch fish. Now that we've poured both of these trailers for this jig, feel free to leave a comment on which trailer that you like better and why. Thank you very much for watching this video and following along as I made these. Once again, my goal is to help other people make their own baits. So I hope that you found this video very helpful. If so, please leave a comment and even subscribe to my newsletter. Thank you.